Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Aquarius for the month of August 2023. That's Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, or Aquarius Rising. So I did the other two air signs, Libra and Gemini, and they were a little long-winded, but that sometimes happens when we're dealing with air. There's always a lot to say when we're dealing with air. Air signs tend to use a lot of words, and although I'm not an air sign, I tend to take on the energy of the element when I do the reading, so that's kind of interesting. So I have a little Aquarius, not much, it's kind of stark, little Aquarius homage here. I have my Aquarius painting. Aquarius is, of course, associated with the planet Uranus. Uranus deals with electricity, and lightning and sudden out of nowhere and flashes of intuition and getting knocked on your butt with new information. And of course, I have my little moss agate, which I keep on my altar. And I also have this beautiful card that one of my subscribers sent to me with actually a whole bunch of cards. It is the star card, actually, and it's from an artist called Emily Balovets, and she sent me a whole bunch of her cards and her art, and I really appreciate that. And I'm actually in a star vibration personal year, so I have it on the altar all the time. So let's talk about Aquarius, and let's talk about the astrology. So Aquarius, we start the month off with a full moon in your sign. Yes, your sign, moon in your first house. Yeah, feelings, big feelings. The sun is in your seventh house. In fact, the sun in Leo spends the majority of the month in that seventh house, right? And then it moves into Virgo, and that happens on the 23rd. Then your attention goes from relationship to shared resources and shared feelings. So we're still in the relationship place. August, we're in the idea of relationship, and then towards the end of August, we get into the nitty-gritty of the emotions of the relationship. So towards the end of the month, maybe a little bit more challenging. We have Venus retrograde in Leo, and so you're rethinking some of your relationships. You're renegotiating contracts, renegotiating relationships. They could be marriage relationships, they could be business relationships. It's also, the seventh house can also be the house of open enemies, and so you could but in your face. It's not like, these aren't the type of people that will stab you in the back. These are the type of people who will fight you, face to face, the brave way. And so we have Venus moving back and forth. So there's issues around values because we're dealing with Venus and we're dealing with Leo. So unfortunately or fortunately, depending really, people can take your relationships are taking things very personally, and you may be taking things very personally, which isn't really an Aquarius thing. But certainly everybody can, everybody can do that. You don't have to, it's like everybody takes things personally, but Aquarius that's not true. All right. So we have the full moon. And so right away, right at the get-go, we have illuminations around relationships. Now, August 1st is a very busy day. It has 3 major things happening all at once. Seems that's the way things work these days. Everything happens all at once, and then we get a little time to sort of suss it out. The other thing that's happening on the first day of August is that we have a trine between Mars and Jupiter. So there's a lot of energy here. Mars is in Virgo, that's your 8th house. Jupiter is in Taurus, and Taurus for you is your 4th house. So there's energy between your family, your soul house, your home, and the eighth house, which is shared resources. This is a time when you can actually maybe get a loan to renovate your house. There's energy for that if that's how you're so going to use that energy. And then we also have on the same day Mercury making opposition to Saturn. Saturn is now in Pisces, Mercury is in Virgo. This is sort of the line in the sand. And for you, it's around eighth house and second house axis, with Mercury being in your eighth house. So you're evaluating Mercury, your resources, your shared resources, and the eighth house is also other people's money. So it's maybe you're looking to get a loan of some sort. And then we have Saturn in the second house. Saturn in the second house, which is, it's there for like almost 3 years for you, Aquarius. It's an opportunity for you to decide what's truly important to you. It's a house of values, but it's also a house of money. And so if you apply yourself, you do your due diligence, you can usually accrue some well-earned resources with that. There is this sense of finding out about a limitation around your resources and shared resources and what you have and what you don't have, what you desire to have. And then you can decide whether you have the resources to move forward on a plan. So illumination, a lot of energy, and then a line in the sand. So we'll see how that works for everybody. Week 2, we have the sun make a square to Jupiter. The sun, of course, is in Leo. Jupiter is in Taurus. This is a square where you are, it's a crisis in action square, but because you're in Aquarius, you're sort of part of the dynamic of this. And it's around family, and it's around relationships. And so there's stress between your home and then maybe the outer world or your relationships. So there's some stress there. There's definitely some stress there. But we also have a trine between Jupiter and Mercury, which is a lovely trine to have. And it is again that trine that brings in your home and your shared resources. So again, there's opportunities to renovate, to fix. The air signs all have, there's actually a theme all month with Jupiter and Uranus and Pluto being in Earth. Every time a planet goes into Virgo or goes through Virgo, it's activating either Jupiter, or it's activating Uranus, or it's activating Pluto through a trine, which is flowing energy. And both Uranus and Pluto are about change, and Jupiter is about expansion. So there's a lot of energy for change and expansion here. And it's all in your emotional houses, in your houses that are associated with your emotions, the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th. And so those themes keep coming up. And it's an opportunity, because we're dealing with earth and water, to actually do a healing, a profound healing of your physical and emotional body. And if you're having physical ailments, it's very likely that they come from an emotional place. Aquarius isn't that comfortable with the deep feelings that water brings. And so it's very easy to dissociate yourself from those feelings, and your body will come along and say, nope, you have to deal with them. And so be aware that if you do fall ill or not feeling yourself, that the likelihood of the origination of these problems is actually your emotional body. So we are going to have to deal with that stuff. And of course, with Saturn, which is really the classical ruler of Aquarius, being in Pisces, you're being asked to deal with feelings. Pisces is a water sign. It's also about letting go. And so there's an understanding and a healing of those feelings and an ultimate let go of those feelings, so that we have sort of a clear slate for when Saturn goes into Aries in 2024, 2025, or 2026. I think it goes in and comes out, and then it goes in again, 2026. So you have time to work with those feelings. All right, and let's see, week 3 is a very interesting week. It is it's the week on the Sunday, which is the 13th of the month. We have the sun make its conjunction to Venus. It's the highlight of the Venus retrograde cycle. It's happening in Leo for you, so it's your 7th house. So it is a real deep, like getting to the heart of the matter, illumination around something to do with your relationships, 7th house is also legal stuff. So if there's something legal, we get to the heart of it. We also have on that week, the sun make a square to Uranus, and that can bring up sudden changes, sudden shifts. Again, we're looking at the 4th and 7th house, the family and relationships. Either something sudden in the house can create a change that has to happen in a relationship, or something in a relationship causes a change to happen in the home. So it can go either way with that. And then we have a new moon in Leo. This month we have the full moon in your sign, Aquarius. Then we have a new moon, and so we have the first day of full moon. In the middle, like it's actually the 16th, we have the new moon in your 7th house, and then at the end of the month we have another full moon, and that's the axis of your values. But we get to the end, we can talk about that at the end. But the new moon is an opportunity to plant seeds of self-expression, seeds of creativity, seeds of generosity. Leo is there could also be seeds of drama. Now this new moon is square Uranus, so it's likely to bring some unexpected changes as well as the new moon progresses, again in that 7th house. So it looks like there's a lot of changing and shifting and things happening rather suddenly for you, which you're not all that unfamiliar with. But we're dealing with the axis of identity. We're dealing with the cross of the 7th house, along with the 1st house, is the horizontal line in an astrology chart, and the 4th house, which is at the bottom, and the 10th house, which is at the top, is the line that goes like this. And this is the cross of incarnation that we're all crucified on. But it's sort of the pillars of your chart, and when they get hit in these ways, your whole life shifts, like the whole paradigm can shift for you. So just know that that's a possibility, or that if that's what's happening to you, you can understand why, because it's time for the big shift. The shift is about ready to hit the fan. So then we have week 4. We have Yod in the sky between the sun, Neptune, and Pluto. That sun in Leo is in the 7th house. So if there's a need to make adjustments in your relationships, And it has to include how you can be of service to humanity, because that's really what the Yod is asking us to do. We also have an opposition between Mars and Neptune. Mars and Neptune oppositions is a point of awareness. The problem when Neptune's involved is that the awareness is generally not easily seen, but it can be a spiritual awareness that you're having. And again, this is actually found in your chart along the axis of values, which is the 8th and the 2nd house. And so there's a realization, an opening, a time of awareness around what's important to you, what's important to others in your life, and perhaps how that lines up with, how does that sit with you? How does that sit with you? We have the sun move into Virgo. I said it was going to be moving into that 8th house, and the same day, Mercury, which is in Virgo, is going to station retrograde. So we have the sun moving in that 8th house, and then Mercury, which is already in that 8th house, because Mercury's been in Virgo all month, and will stay in Virgo all month because it goes retrograde right at the end, towards this end of this month. And so we have to check, cross your T's, dot your I's with anything that has to do with any kind of indebtedness, getting a loan or things like that. Just double check everything, make sure that you're not getting involved in something that can backfire on you. It doesn't mean that it's a bad time for that. It just means that you have to make sure you do your homework, and it's better to do the homework before Mercury goes retrograde, because then you don't want to make any rash decisions when Mercury is retrograde, and that's rash decisions, not no decisions. And it is involved in the money that you share with others. It can also be tax issues, so you want to make sure that all of that is taken care of as best you can. And then we have Mars make a trine to Pluto. Mars is in Virgo, is in your 8th house. Again, this is like forensic accounting almost. Mars in Virgo in the 8th house, really getting the details down. So it's real important with Aquarius that you get the details down when it comes to money shared, taxes, loans, right? If I talked about you maybe redoing your house, just make sure all that stuff is on the up and up legally, and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. That's important for you. And then we have Mars move into Libra, and Libra is your 9th house, so things soften up a little bit with the action in that 8th house, although we still have the sun there and we still have Mercury retrograde, still have to be there. But once Mars moves into Libra, which is at the very end of the month, this is an opportunity if you wanted to maybe go away for a little while or go on a trip. This is good energy for that. I think you'd have a pleasant time. And then we have on the last day, we have the opposition or the full moon in the sign of Pisces. And we come to an illumination, a culmination in that 8th and 2nd house. So all that energy in the 8th house, you probably have an answer by the end of the month, whatever that may be for you. It depends on you, and it depends on how that expresses in your chart. But I wouldn't worry too much about it, as long as you have a good accountant, somebody you can trust, somebody with your best interest at heart, you should be fine. All right, so we're going to pull a oracle card this month. I'm using the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, who does some beautiful work. Yeah, she's really good. She's out of England. I don't know if she's either out of England or she's out of Australia, but I think she's English. It's lovely, lovely, great art, great artwork. And a good animal deck. Some of these animal decks aren't, are better than others. This is a good one, even though it's a relatively new one. you know, the old standbys, the medicine cards, and Ted Andrews' work on animals. That's really the seminal stuff. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my nose. Ah, itchy. I think my mother would say, you have an itchy nose, you're going to kiss a fool. But I mean, I guess I could kiss my husband. I wanted to, if he was around, if he's around to be kissed. I don't know if I'd call him a fool. He's a good guy. All right, let's see what we got here. Flamingo spirit. Hang out on the front lawn. No, that's not it. Okay, we're gonna put the flamingo here. What does it say here? It says, embrace the in-between. Embrace the in-between. I also like this deck because she has there's so many cards and so many animals that you really learn something. Okay, here we go. Flamingo spirit sees what was and what will be, and stands strong in the face of uncertainty. You can be informed by what came before and plan for the future, yet to be, but to do not resist flamingo spirit. Oh, excuse me, let me try this. Again, you can be informed by what came before and plan for a future yet to be, but do not resist flamingo spirit's call to be fully present in the now, where the real magic happens. With one foot in the life you are moving away from and one in the future, as you become the one who leads the life of your higher intentions, you must make peace with the fact that you are not fully in either place. Embrace the in-between. So the in-between is the present moment. The presence of flamingo spirit is also a sign that your creativity is arising within you and opportunities are beginning to present themselves. That's interesting because that creativity rising within you can be indicated in that new moon, right? In the creative sign of Leo. Remain here in a balanced state of mind, for there is much to know and learn before going forward with the new plans. You can trust this moment and yourself as you take what you see and become aware of all that you are experiencing in this in-between time. So it's really about being in the present with an eye to the future, the lessons of the past, but knowing that you're not in the past or in the future, but you're in the now. And that's where the power is, the power of the now. I guess you could try standing on one foot for a while and then standing on the other foot, like flamingo. That's how flamingos stand, right on one foot. There's probably a lesson in that as well. Okay, maybe you could do some yoga that would help you to find the balance that way. And one of the ways that you can do is you stand on one foot, see how, and then the other foot, and see how, and the right foot is considered masculine, the left foot is considered feminine, so you can see what side of the body is prominent and what needs balance. So I decided to use the Thoth deck for all the air signs this month. So we're going to do your tarot reading with the Thoth deck. Yeah, this hasn't been as long as the first two. I did the other two air readings when I was really tired at the end of the day, and it had been a long and strenuous and sweaty day. So it's just the way it was. All right, we have the Hermit here, starting with the Hermit. Are you hiding away a little bit? Are you hermiting away? This can also be an energy of shining your light, standing on your own, doing your own thing, which of course is very much an Aquarius thing. But shining the light, right? Shining the light of your wisdom. So it's a 9 card, it's a wisdom card. Let's see what's challenging that. Choices to make the choice. To make the choice to do it. 2 major arcana cards, very interesting. Interestingly enough, the Hermit card is a Virgo card, and the Lover's card is a Gemini card, and both of those signs are associated with Mercury, and of course Mercury will be retrograde this month. And so I would say that this is indicating that that part of the month, so when the sun goes into um, Virgo, and then Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, and of course Mars is in Virgo for most of the month, so there's a lot of that Virgo energy anyway at this time. But that time is especially important for you to really go within to make the choice that you need to make. Let's see what's underneath it all. Star, hope. This is finding your guiding star here. It's like a new beginning in a way. And this is the Aquarius card. So I've picked 3 cards so far, Aquarius, and they're all major arcana. So this is going to be a big point in your life, in your evolution. Let's see, in the past, we have the Knight of Swords. This can be a past of somebody, and of course this could be you, somebody who has a higher perspective on something, comes in like this guy has like a helicopter. I don't know if you can see, it almost looks like a helicopter coming out of his hat there. So he's like flying in right into the ruckus, as it were. Of all the Knight of Sword cards in most of the decks, this is the one that the person has a sense maybe of what's going on and what they're doing. The other ones, especially the Rider-Waite, it's like you're rushing in and you're not thinking before you rush in. Now perhaps that has been your past. Perhaps that has been your past, and now you're sort of like, well, maybe I should really think about this before I take an action. In the sky, we have change. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, 4 of them major arcana. So things are changing for you. Certain things are moving out of your life, and new things are moving in, and that was indicated in the astrology as well. In the immediate future, we have the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords. A decision will be made, a judgment will be passed. If there's a legal action, it will come to fruition this month for you. The Queen of Swords is somebody who is not afraid to take action, but the action is not it's not willy-nilly, it's well thought out. The Queen of Swords is very wise, although sometimes she can be a little bit quick on cutting people out. She has to watch that tendency. How people see you, powerful, that you're powerful, that you have your walls and your guard up, perhaps, maybe a little closed down for people's tastes. Your domestic situation, oh, we have the Eight of Wands here. So lots of new information coming in. There was a lot of 4th house stuff, which could be indicated with this chart. So this card, so changes, things happening quickly at home. It looks like things happening, information coming in, quick. All right, let's see, hopes and fears, victory. Well, I don't think you fear a victory. I'd say you probably hope a victory. And then the outcome. We have the 7 of Pentacles here. In this deck, it's called debauchery. Decisions are hard to make. Things are unclear. You have to watch you're not drinking too much. You have to smoking too much pot. Whatever your choice is, you want to make sure you're clear-minded with this. Let's continue. Cruelty, debauchery, cruelty. These aren't very nice cards. Let's see, one more. Oh, and then completion. Well, that's better. The four of Wands. So let's see, how do I see this? How would I see this? There's a sense of this illusion, delusion, and cruelty coming to an end. And I don't know how that applies to you. So you can take that and decide for yourself. Underneath it all, we have the 6 of Swords, which is a balance. It's moving out of troubled waters. It's called science. This is depending on the facts. Mercury in Aquarius, in fact, in this deck. Dominion, the 2 of Wands. This is about having control, having it's creative. It's commodification of commodifying your light, utilizing there's always commerce with this card, and so it's commerce on what you know. So maybe utilizing the information that you have and that you know to make money. And there is some worry, financial worry, but honestly, I don't think you really have anything to worry about financially, not from these cards anyway. People see you as pretty stable financially. I think there's this need with Aquarius at this time to want to move forward, to want to move away from things that don't get us anywhere, and wanting that to be over, and then instead of that, sort of putting something that's useful. But there's a worry that because you're putting out something that people aren't feeding off of in a way, that it's going to put like a little dent in the finances. But I don't think it's something you have to worry about. That's what this sort of looks like to me. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Like and subscribe if you would. If you'd like to support my work, you can give me a thumbs up. You can share this if you find this helpful for you and you know another Aquarius that might benefit from the information, the astrology or the reads. I do have timestamps, so if you're not really interested in the astrology and you're just interested in the tarots and the tarot part, you could just skip right to that. So I do have a Patreon page, Dr. Vicky at the Seeds. There's a link for that as well if you want to become a patron. I would like to, for me personally, I'm endeavoring to put more things out for you guys, make my teaching more available, and it all helps. It all helps. The more exposure I get, I think the better, the more people can decide whether they like what I have to offer. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful month, and I'll see you again for the Taroscopes for September for your sign. Until then, have a wonderful month, and namaste.